Okay, welcome back to the Sportatorium now. You'll notice that Terrence Garvin is not on my right. Gentleman Chris Adams is. Terrence is not with us this week, and no one is complaining, and Chris will be one of several guests here at ringside during the course of the action this week. Chris, a pleasure to have such a normally dressed individual sitting on my right.
Well, thank you, Mark. I think Terrence had to go off and see his boyfriend, and I hope he doesn't mind me stealing his chair for the evening.
We won't worry about that. Ready to move into our first match. It's Steve Williams against Chris Youngblood, the Indian, in his first USWA bout, and it's a pair of newcomers here. Steve Williams, the Chris Adams protege out of the wrestling school, apple of the ladies' eye, and we're off to a fine beginning.
Well, as you can imagine, Mark, I've got a special interest in Steve. Now, he's against a very experienced opponent here, which obviously is the best way for Steve to break into this business. Now, Steve's only been doing this, remember, from beginner to now, of 6 months. So I think he's done fantastic. As you can see, all the crowd are behind him already. So I think this guy has a great future in the professional wrestling.
Now, just the other day here on television, things almost got out of hand between you and Eric Embry. Thank goodness those had a happy ending. And you all will be in a tag team main event next week here on USWA Wrestling.
Well, you know that Eric and I don't know, I think it's Akbar. Akbar's the one behind this. He's the one telling his funkers to say this or do that. You see that? That guy just spat at Steve.
That's right, the medicine man, Chris Youngblood, agitated Steve Williams and now is taking advantage in the ring as he drops the back of that knee down on the head.
Anyway, back to Eric. You know, Eric and I were made to have our differences. We really didn't. We were blaming each other for causing each other to lose. It was all pre-planned by Skandar Akbar. We're the best of buddies. We've been friends for a long, long time, so everything's really cool now.
Down with the knee comes the medicine man, Chris Youngblood, the full-blooded Indian. He's in our first match here. Coming up later, you're going to see Kevin Von Erich against P.Y. with Tojo in his corner. We've got the Stud Stable against Jeff Jarrett and Matt Bourne, that exciting title rematch main event that you've already seen and heard the reasons for. We've got an interview right after this bout as you enjoy the analysis of gentleman Chris Adams, who's joined us here for this first bout.
And what Steve has to do now, Mark, as a beginner in this, he has to gather his bearings and then start a uniformed plan. He can't just go haywire and hope to catch the guy off guard. He's got to be thinking right now at this point so that he can come up with a plan to weaken Youngblood and also hopefully pin him in the end.
Youngblood getting aggravated about the officiating. Chris, you've got the beautiful calendar in front of you. You've got the brochure from the wrestling school with you. Feel free to tell us anything about those things you like. All we hear about the calendar from Terrence is that he's mad that he's not on the cover.
Well, he's not on the cover. You know, they call them ginger beers in England. I'm not sure what they call them here, but I think Tony on the cover is a whole lot better. Oh, good move, Steve. I'm glad that he suddenly had the thought to move on that one. Now he's coming back, and hopefully he's got a plan in where he can do something and pin the guy.
Over and down goes Chris Youngblood. Takes him all the way over with a reverse full Nelson.
Good.
And a pin, 1, 2.
Almost. Just like to throw in real quickly, Mark, about the ABC of professional wrestling. It's a tape that coincides with the wrestling school. And what it does is it explains not only how to break into the business, it goes into the matches here at the Sportatorium and other places. It shows the actual matches. Then we go back into the studio to show exactly how we do the movements. It's a fantastic deal. I hope Steve moves on this one. Ooh!
He did not. Here's the pin. The leg is hooked. 1, 2, 3, and Chris Youngblood is the winner. Chris, I want you to finish your thought on this, but let me make this announcement first. The winner of our first match, Indian Chief Chris Youngblood. All right, Chris, go ahead on that ABC.
Right. Well, you know, we see the match in the ring, and then we go back to the studio and we go through the whole system of learning how to do the throw, learning what you need to be successful in the career of professional wrestling. So it's a tape that any of you budding professional wrestling stars out there listening to this, you need to get. So watch the commercial for